Citizens of Gotham City, if you are seeing this, I have killed Batman and I have taken control of the city. I am your leader now.
So today is going to be kind of a different style of video. I like to do commentary, and Stephen gave me the suggestion that I should do like commentary in the background, but put up clips of me just doing my makeup, and I thought that was a really good idea. So if you like this concept, it's something I would like to do in the future. As for now, I realize it is completely painful given that I don't have the best microphone in the world, but you know what? Maybe one day I'll be rich and famous and I can buy a new microphone. But until now, um, I mean, I don't know. Either watch the video or don't. That's all I can tell you. So, as you can tell from the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about Jeffree Star, quote unquote, breaking his silence in the worst possible fashion. But, you know, at this point, what did we really expect? Because the man is gone for freaking ever, saying absolutely nothing, and then he comes back and still gives us nothing. And as for the video as a whole, I feel like I'm personally not going to have a whole lot to add to the conversation just because I feel like everyone's covered this topic and we are all pretty much in the same boat. But I don't know. I still want to talk about it because I know that I like to hear from everybody that I watch, even if they're all saying the same thing. It's just, I don't know, kind of comforting to hear other people's perspectives, even if it's just two sides of the same coin. So here we go. The number one thing I would like to point out is the fact that, I mean, he did technically say that he was the problem, right? And that's something that everyone is going to latch on to because from like the Jeffree Star fan perspective, like, oh, he owned up. He said it was his fault. So we can all go back to buying his makeup and his bullshit. And no, he said that he was a problem, but he didn't state anything outside of that little like, okay, my bad, maybe it was me, sorry, I'm just so quirky and different and not like the other girls. No, he said like, yeah, I'm kind of an issue. I love being dramatic, but you know, what are you gonna do? Buy my makeup. He didn't state any specifics. He didn't talk about, you know, what he really did. All he did was, honestly, he did exactly what Tati did. Like, it is astounding to me that they're not friends because they are literally the exact same person, right? Like, Jeffree, all he did was victim. I can't get words out, sorry. All he did was completely victimize himself still, even though he pointed out that he constantly plays the victim. He continued to play the victim and talked about, oh, I have people in my ear saying XYZ. Like, all he did was blame shift and did exactly what Tati did in her video. So, like, literally, we're just watching the same video over and over with him putting this out versus what Tati put out. I feel like, I hate to say it because I know Shane is public enemy number one right now, and there were still a lot of issues with his video, but so far, I feel like he's done the best out of everybody because he brought up specifics and was like, hey, this was wrong, versus these two people that are like, hey, this was wrong, but it was this person's fault, right? Like, I don't know, I just really cannot wrap it around my mind or wrap my mind around it. Hi, I was an English major. So one other thing I thought was very interesting was a lot of the references he made because, you know, everybody was talking about how he was shading Tati, and it wasn't really, I guess it was kind of shade because it was indirect. He didn't mention her by name that I can recall. He mentioned James Charles by name, and I feel like that was only because, you know, people wanted that. They kept saying everywhere, hey, you need to apologize to James, and he did that. And again, it's, you know, to make himself look better because at the end of the day, he can be like, hey, you told me to do this, I did exactly what you told me to do. But it's still no closure for us as an audience. And I'm sure it's still no closure for James, but he's off living his best life, so whatever, good for him. People saying that this seemed like a PR stunt, I don't know how there's any debate like, up for grabs with that, because of course it was a PR stunt. It was 100% purely PR. Like, there was no sincerity in there. He was just, the whole time with his tone, you can tell he was just aggravated. Like, this whole thing was just one big inconvenience. Like, he had to get out of his pool for 10 minutes and put on some slippers and sit on his couch that's bigger than my entire house and, like, put this shit out here. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he is off crying in his freaking millions. He does not care. The thing about this video is it was a PR move, but it's not like it was for any outsiders looking in. This was a video purely for his audience that is never going to leave him. This wasn't anything for you or me. You know, if you're not a fan of Jeffree, if you used to be a fan of Jeffree, like, this wasn't for any of us. This was for the people that blindly follow him no matter what. And then they have their friends in their ear and they're starting to feel bad, like, oh, well, maybe, you know, it's not that great. But now he puts this out and they can be like, see, he owned up. He's a great person. I mean, let's go get the pallet. He's about to drop one. Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't you worry. Another thing that others have mentioned that I found very interesting was the fact that he directly named Shane and came out and was like, he is still my best friend. I love him no matter what. He keeps me grounded. And I found that very interesting because he was really kind of love bombing in a sense, right? Like, he's pushing Shane onto us, telling us, like, how great Shane is. But, you know, when Tati dropped that video when she did what she did, do you remember all the love and support Jeffree gave her? And then just suddenly they, like, weren't following each other, right? And then everybody was talking about that. So I have to wonder if that is true. Like, this is what he does to kind of keep from, as much as this man loves to stir the pot, but kind of keeps it from getting any more agitated, you know? Because if he comes out immediately and suddenly he and Shane aren't friends, the world's going to have a whole come apart, right? Whereas if he continues to act like everything's okay, and then one day, you know, whatever drama channel discovers they happen to not be following each other, I mean, then he can come out and be like, oh, it wasn't over that, well, something else happened. And then again, people are going to be like, hey, you lost another friend. What's going on here? So I feel like that's kind of his end to, I don't know. Eventually he's going to drop Shane, and then he can find another reason why it's not his fault. So I feel like that's really something to pay attention to. I also like the fact that he made, like, the Disney villain reference, which I feel like is perfect because that's really what he is, right? Like, he's the one you love to hate. Everything he does is entertaining, and he just really is cartoonish in a sense because of just everything that happens. All the tragedies that follow this man. But I thought it was funny that he, like, said that specifically. Well, not verbatim like what I said. Like, he said some kind of, like, James Bond villain or superhero villain. He said something along those lines, right? And who started, like, bringing that up? Because I feel like it was the commentary community that made that reference. So he wants to sit here and talk about, like, oh, I used to be so, like, into the drama and this and that. Well, clearly, you have to still be into the drama. You have to still be watching the videos and looking at the tweets and stuff to pick up that reference. And that was something that I know I didn't see until recently, so he had to have seen it recently. But I thought you weren't on social media, buddy. Like, something's not adding up here. And the thing is, it's, like, not even good lies. It's just so blatant, and it's not that hard to track. Like, I know he's been on other people's social media, but he's been, like, out here, like, liking things, and you haven't been posting, but you've definitely been on it, so don't just sit here and act like you were off in your own little world, not touching Instagram or Twitter. Like, that's just complete bullshit, and that's something dumb to even lie about. Be like, hey, I was on social media, I saw this, I just want you to know that's not what it is. But no, he's such a freaking pathological liar. It drives me insane. Like, you can't even keep track of your lies. And it's over dumb shit. Like, what's the point in lying about that? We've all seen you on the social media. He talked about how he's like tired of the drama, and this isn't drama, and this isn't tea, and this isn't petty, because this is their life. Like, these are these people's lives, and that's 100% true. Like, that's something I even said in a video before. Like, I completely agree with that. But you know what, Jeffree? If you don't want the drama, stop being so fucking dramatic. Like, it's you. You are the reason. Like, it's not like drama just happens to follow you and surround you. You manifest it. Like, this is all you're doing. And, I mean, what do you expect? Like, the drama channels aren't going to stop what they're doing. You know, commentary is not going to come to an end no matter how much YouTube tries to silence them. Like, this isn't, you know, stop doing shit and then people will stop talking about it. That's all you have to do is either own up to your bullshit and, like, come out and be like, hey, this is what I did, and really try to make amends, or just stop with social media in general. Just stay in the background and sell your makeup and make your millions, and, like, stop being a character. Like, that's, I get that he's a personality, but if your personality is going to be a shitty one, then, I mean, what do you really expect? People are going to talk about it if you're doing messed up shit. And I don't know why that's such a difficult concept to grasp. And the fact that he talked about how, like, okay, I still have these notes and this and that, but I'm not here to expose anyone today. Okay, I get that you're trying to pretend like you're taking the high road like you did in your last apology, but if you have this supposed quote-unquote evidence, why would you not still bring that out? And I know that's touchy because, again, there's this alleged victim, and it's not his story to tell, but at this point, it's getting so messy. Don't you think he'd want to at least show what he can and try to prove something? Especially when, you know, Tati's out here talking about she's got lawyers, and then Jeffree's like, I have lawyers too, and we're like, okay, so what? What are you going to do with that? Like, where's this going? Give us something. Something. I'd also like to know what it means, just the fact that he said James's name, he said Shane's name, but he never called Tati out by name, did he? But I feel like that's kind of a, the fact that he wouldn't directly name her kind of makes me feel like he actually has nothing. I don't know if that makes sense. It's all very confusing. I just still don't get, like, why are you not trying to truly defend yourself? You're just kind of throwing shit out there, using all the buzzwords, and that's really all it was. And now he's back posting to Instagram like everything's normal, it's just another day at the office, and freaking flexing on us with his Dior Air Jordans and shit. Like, I thought you were reflecting on your actions. I thought you were doing self-reflection. Where's that self-reflection? Because all I see is just you completely ignoring everything. Like, I get it, you want to move on with your life, okay? But, I mean, even Shane's still been gone. Like, I feel like, you know, he realized he was in some deep shit and dipped out, whereas Jeffree's just gonna pretend like everything's fine. And that looks so bad. Just the fact that you're on here, like, still showing everything off and making your cute little good morning, everybody. Like, do something. Like, go to freaking therapy. Good God. You can't just completely pretend like everything's okay and then expect everyone else to be like, alright, I guess everything's okay. But I guess at the point you're Jeffree Star, you can, because you do have those people that just are completely wrapped up in it and the manipulation, and they're just going to go on like everything, like, oh, he apologized, everything's cool. And, you know, honestly, even I almost fell for it. Like, I had to really sit there and think and watch again and reflect, because, you know, I'm also easily manipulated by this man just because I grew up with Jeffree Star. And so, of course, my brain, subconsciously, I want to be like, oh, he's trying to apologize. He actually said it was his fault. And then I'm like, no. Hold up. Back up. Press rewind. The thing that kills me about Jeffree is just the fact that we all know deep in our heart of hearts, this man is never going to do the actual right thing. Like, he's never going to straight up tell you, like, what he did or what's going on, because he knows he doesn't have to, right? Because you still have all these people that either don't care or are just so in love with him that they're just going to look past everything. And he knows he can continue to be the Disney villain and do what he does because it's not really going to affect him that much other than just like this video being a minor inconvenience. That's all it is. He's sleeping on it. He's not worried about it. Completely unbothered. And the same with Shane. Like, the problem with Shane is, when people were complaining about how, obviously you're well off, but you want to sit here and wear the same dirty shirt and act like you're poor, it's because of the aesthetic of it all, right? Like, if someone is either completely relatable to you, you're going to be invested. If someone looks so lavish and, like, gives you that inspiration that, like, maybe that can be me one day, you're going to be there for them, So they pick these characters, and they're going to continue to play these characters because that's what gives them success, and if they keep seeing these results from what they're doing, then why would they ever stop, Jeffree knows that if these drama channels constantly have his name in their mouth, and he is constantly being the center of attention, whatever publicity it may be, good or bad, he knows that's still going to get clicks and, views and bring people to his website and get people invested. And then you have people like me that sometimes are just confused. And then I'm just trying to, like, gather all the different sides to try to form my own opinion. Like, he knows what it's doing to people. So, of course, he's never going to stop. So, at this point, I don't know why we're all sitting here trying and talking about it, because it's just never gonna happen, dude. It is what it is, and it sucks. So, as much as I would like for him to own up and stop being a shitty person, I've given up hope. Like, that horse was dead long ago. Another thing that really grinded everybody's gears was his little virtue signaling Black Lives Matter thing going on in the middle of the video. And while it's great that he did, use his platform to bring some attention, he didn't really. Like, he threw out the two names that I'm sure he saw floating around on Twitter. Did he look into any, like, research into them as people? Did he really know their story? I seriously doubt it, okay? And that's heartbreaking, because these people are actual human beings who lost their lives, and he's just going to use them as, like, buzzwords for the rest of his shitty video. I don't get down with that. There was no links, there was nothing of actual value other than him just really reiterating what we see on every other Facebook post, right? And not to mention, it was awful convenient that he could be like, hey, Black Lives Matter. Oh, by the way, my makeup company, we're all inclusive. Like, you're literally just pushing product. Like, you remember when Nikita Dragon, like, did that James Charles video, and, like, the whole time it was just pretty much an advertisement for, like, Dragon Beauty or whatever? Like, that's really what he was doing. He's still using stuff to sell. And what really caught me off guard was the fact that, like, come on, Jeffree, you've got to be smarter than that. You should know that now is not the time to be selling your makeup. Like, are you being dead serious? Especially in relation to a topic as important as systematic racism? Are you goddamn fucking shitting me right now? I couldn't believe that. And also, can we talk about white people, like, for 1 second? Me as a white person. Like, talking about how, I've, ever since my company started, I've always been inclusive, and I've always posted pictures of people of color, and I'm like, oh, fucking K, do you want a cookie? Like, why do you think you need a pat on the back for trying to appear publicly not racist? Like, you should be posting people of color wearing your makeup. Like, what are you even talking about? Why does that make you special or different? Like, congratulations for pretending to not be racist. So proud of you. Go the fuck off, sis. And then if that wasn't bad enough, he goes on to blatantly be like, hey, knock knock, I have a launch coming up. Girl, are you are you being dead serious right now? Like, even before I got, like, through processing everything that I had just heard in my brain, like, the fact that that was there, even if I was still, like, a blind stan, I would not be able to believe that shit, okay? Like, you come out here in your fucking $1 billion house slippers, on your freaking $400 billion couch. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I have no concept of the value of how much things actually cost because I'm poor. But you're coming out here with all this lavish shit, putting on a show as you normally do. And then you're gonna talk about, like, hey, remember all that stuff I did? It doesn't matter. Continue to make me rich so I can buy more couches like this. Like, that's really all this was. And it pisses me off. Like, even Laura Lee gave us, like, at least tried to pretend like it was an apology. You know what I mean? Like, she had on her gray hoodie and, like, had the fake tears going. Could he give us some of that? Like, I want to see him, even if it's complete and utter bullshit, right? Like, even if, like, he as a person does not care and has not changed, could you at least come out and publicly pretend for, like, 4 seconds? Just play dress up, okay? Come out in your actual PJs. Like, I don't want to see you in these freaking Louis Vuitton whatever the fuck. I want him to come out in a t-shirt from, like, middle school, right? With, like, holes in it. I want him to be, like, in some boxers that he stole from some dude that was a one-night stand. Like, I want his face to be a freaking mess. I want him to have, like, 4 zits. And I want to see the tears fucking pouring, buddy. Like, do something. Like, if you're gonna sit here and continue to be the master manipulator, it's at the point where he just knows he can get away with so much. He knows he doesn't even have to try. And that's what pisses me off, is, like, just knowing that this is going to continue to go on, and it's a fucking mess, yo. It's just such a mess. Okay, I've pretty much said all that I can say, and I'm going to call Mom to pick me up because I hate it here and I want to go home. But before that, I just wanted to give a little bit of this is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion. And if you disagree, feel free to respectfully disagree in the comments. But don't be an asshole, because we got enough of that going on in the world right now. So a lot of concern people have, right, is the fact that Jeffree Star Cosmetics does produce really amazing products, right? Like, these eyeshadow palettes and the liquid lipsticks are honestly the best formula I've personally ever tried. So they're like, well, great, now I have to stop buying it because all my friends told me I need to stop buying it, and the internet told me I need to stop buying it, but, you know, I found this product that I really like. It's the only one that's ever really worked for me. And that's where I just want to point out that I don't think you should be forced or guilt-tripped into stop buying a product that you enjoy, that you spend your personal money that you earned on, because, you know, you're supporting Jeffree and his antics. Because while it's true that it can come off as support, and of course, like we talked about, as long as he's making money, he's not going to stop being himself. But I feel like he can do that in general, right? Like, I don't know. It's weird. I just find it ironic that people will sit there and they'll send a tweet about how, you know, you can't support this if you support Jeffree Star, or if you support Jeffree, you're by buying his makeup, you're doing this. And they'll send that tweet on their iPhone that was, like, made in a sweatshop. You know what I mean? Like, the world is filled with double standards and hypocrisy. And the thing is, there are so many things in our lives that we use every day, and so many other makeup products out there and things like that are produced in some type of unethical fashion, right? And if we just sit there and completely eliminate everything, we're probably going to end up with nothing, because not every company in this world is going to choose to do good and be a good person. And there's a lot going on out there that we as the public are never going to know about. The only reason we know everything about Jeffree Star is because he's a personality on the internet, and he has been since literally the dawn of the internet, you know? So we have more to go off of. So it's easy to look at him and point out everything he's doing fucked up. But there's these other things that we use in our lives that we're not going to go out of our way. Like, I'm not going to sit there and research the entire history of Con Air before I use my flat iron. So I feel like if it makes you more comfortable to not buy his makeup because you disagree with his ethics and what he does, and you yourself realize that he's a shitty person, okay, that's great, but don't guilt trip your friends and force them to do anything, because at the end of the day, we're all just people, and we're all just trying to live, and it's not like, I mean, sure, there's people that are buying the makeup to support Jeffree, but most people aren't buying it to specifically put money in Jeffree's pocket. They're buying it because, damn, this lipstick is bomb as fuck, and I want more of this for myself because I want to feel pretty, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, I don't know, I just feel like you shouldn't police other people, and you have no idea what their life is like. You don't know anything about their morals or ethical values, and I feel like what they do outside of buying a product says a lot more about the person that they are. So I'm like, what's the point in demonizing somebody that's been signing petitions and donating and going to protests and spreading information about everything wrong Jeffree Star has done and really trying to advocate? And okay, maybe they own one Jeffree Star liquid lipstick. I don't feel like that means they're a racist. I think it means they bought a lipstick. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, it can be touchy. I see it from both sides. Like, I completely understand. But I'm just kind of right here where, okay, everything sucks somehow. And everybody can be shitty. And I don't know anything about every single CEO of every product in the entire world, and I'm never going to, so I feel like I don't really, am I going to buy from Jeffree Star Cosmetics again? I don't know, who's to say. Maybe if he comes out with something I really, really want, then I'll think about it, and I'm just going to be straight up, I'm not going to lie about it. Am I going to continue to watch his videos and such? If it's some tea and it's something I want to talk about, yeah, probably. But just as a daily, he's still my favorite YouTuber, no, definitely not. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you hate me. I mean, so do most people. I don't know what to tell you. And with that, I'm just gonna skedaddle on out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed me, talking. I don't know why you would, but anyways, the video as a whole, look at the big picture, not the quality, not the bad lighting in this bathroom. Obviously, I'm not at my house, so this was the best I could do. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about everything in the comments, and I mean it because nobody ever comments, and I ask you to comment because I actually want to know what you had to say about the thing. But, I mean, go off. Like, no, I'm not in charge. I'm not your parent. Don't listen to me. Anyways, I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love you. Have fun. Be safe. Look both ways before you cross the street, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.